there's I never know what to call it. Reading club, Tarragon reading meeting, whatever. I have Thor and Jit.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right. So this week, we'll take 6 or 7.
Yes.
I swear, I don't think I've ever noticed before, or if I notice, I completely ignore it, you know. But Yu Hang-sung has a letter in episode 14 after he talks to his name,
Quant.
he has a letter on his bed. Like he's, laying down under the table. He has a letter with a symbol, a red sign. It's like a line, you know, figure of thought. And if you look very, very close, there there is a pattern of refugee around that red line.
Yep.
And I'm think I'm going crazy. Either I'm going crazy, or I just found out the first time because before I never realized. You guys noticed?
Yes, actually, that's a hairpin.
Yeah, but behind the hairpin, you can see the pattern of refugee.
I mean, yeah,
How did
that's
that
true.
happen?
And then I zoom in. Yes. I'm not sure if that was done on purpose.
I mean,
I can't see
he
it.
is part of refugees, so it would make sense.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And the letter was
I can't see it. Which panel? Where he is sitting and this is
down.
red hairpin is there? Where's the symbol?
Like if you zoom in very close.
Like 300%, and you can kind of see it.
It's like a reflection. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if it was a coincidence or just.
Oh well.
Ranker or test administrator. He could have said something, right? Like, what did he say? Oh, this guy from the regular princess.
I mean, he forgot to check, so I think he got chosen, like accepted for the position, knowing that he would just, not really take all the steps that would be required, like checking, like every time, is there an irregular, is there a princess, is there something special going on? I think Kwon is lazy in that way, that they would just know, like, yeah, Kwon would just think that, I mean, what are the chances? He won't check. The chances are so low that some of these are in there. Like, yeah, he's not going to check every time. Maybe he's going to check the first 2 times, but maybe not even then. Like, Yuan Sung actually in chapter 27, yeah, 26, he like after Leroro leaves, when he's done talking with Young Sung, Young Sung says, Mr. Leroro is hard to handle, unlike stupid Quant. Like that, it kind of tells me something like, okay, he obviously knew Quant is not really the brightest, and it's not really the guy who would always check everything. Like he won't need any special, pay any special attention to make sure Quant does what he is intended to do to be part of the plan. If that makes sense.
I know it makes sense,
Well,
but it's still like one of those weak points. Sorry, why?
well, no, Kwan is really hot-minded, so since Yu Han-sung is the test director, he must be the one that hires rankers to get the test done. So I think that Kwan didn't check the leads. He just, well, fuck it, let's conduct this test, and everyone died. But what I want to know is how he noticed that there is an irregular. How do you know someone is irregular? Oh, someone is irregular. Or someone is an irregular only he tells you, or like something like Shinshu control, or is he able to use Shinsu? But he
I mean,
actually
I can make
says there is an
it
irregular.
head on let them know.
I don't think
No,
so.
actually, I believe it's more like irregulars won't have any prior information about them inside the Tower archives. Like everyone else, every regular lives at least some time inside the tower before being chosen. So there will probably be some documents, some information stored inside the information network of the tower about them. Just like
Yeah,
when Kuhn does
for
his
that
background checks on Anak and the other participants.
exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, there can be exceptions. There can be somebody somewhere in the tower that nobody knows about him. I think it's more about head.
Yeah, but the only one that knows are Heron and Yu Han-sung. With
Right.
Bang is the same.
They were hiding it from the regular, but not from
No,
themselves.
for the rankers, it's not
They
for themselves, but
they did
for
hide it for Leroro,
Leroy and Quan don't know about it. They don't
Right.
know.
but
So
Quant didn't check.
I don't know if it is a weak point
They're not.
on the
They are not.
storytelling, or is it wrong with it? If it's hiding, it's kind of iffy in a moment because they are not supposed to know, and yet he says, yeah, there is an irregular and a princess of jihad. A princess I can understand because maybe there might be a lead and Quan just check it
I mean,
endorse it. But how do
I
you know
guess I
about
assume
others?
princesses are registered in some way. Like they have an official, role to play inside the empire. So it would be weird if there was no listing of, hey, look, this person got chosen to be a princess. I'm pretty sure that's common information if you tag for
Yeah,
it.
that's right. Because when Rang was chosen, he didn't get to the tower itself instantly. Mascheni said, "What, this kid got already chosen to climb the tower?" But he didn't climb it, but then until later. So I guess it's kind of confusing.
I mean, we True. Yeah, she's somewhat of a yeah, uh, damn it, how you say that? It's an illegal child. Yeah, that's word. So yeah, I mean, she wouldn't be listed, but like also why they wouldn't know that she's a princess because well, technically she is not a princess. So if they look up her personal information, there would be not much. Maybe she lived like I mean, when she when her mom got murdered, she was quite a lot younger, and as time and aging is not like takes a lot longer. There must have been a fair amount of time that has passed since that incident, um, and Anna entering the tower, like entering the test floor. Um, so she must have like lived a life. So there must have been some information about her, not specifically related to oh look, this is the daughter of the old Anak, but there must have been some information why they even if they checked they would not necessarily um, yeah identify her as a princess because if they just look at first glance it's like oh yeah she lived I don't know floor whatever and oh she has the same name curious but maybe some people call their children after other princesses you don't know there's just a lot we don't know.
If I'm not wrong, that's not her real name. He just took after her mother. So
I think you're right. I think
Possible, yes.
usually faster than that. But, I mean,
that's the grandma.
I guess
Yeah,
yeah, everybody even
or it's just because those are notable names. I mean, if your dad is someone unimportant and your mom is someone like from a big family, super large name, I mean, I think most parents would like to have their child to be considered, to be part of that big name rather than of the small, unimportant name, just for their chances inside the tower. So that would be one reason to take a specific name
Yeah,
over another.
most of the daughters of the Yahad family, the princess just take the name Yahad.
That
Not
they have
until
to take the
you,
name.
yeah, you have to take it, but you don't say Mascheni Kun Yahad. They say just Mascheni Yahad or Lopovia Shilia. You just take Shilia Yahad. So it is true that the most important name
yeah,
goes
there's
first.
different rules that an outplaner world. I guess
Yeah,
they take Sahara or you had.
yeah, that's it. So moving
All
on.
right, let's jump into it.
Mhm. 19, I believe.
Yeah,
They resonate because they're supposed to never princess for more than two.
More than one. If they will, no, actually, they can wield multiple ones. If they ignite more than one at the same time, then they go crazy.
yeah. That was a point I wanted to combine with the one below. In the one below, if I'm not wrong, I talk about Ashul Edwaru,
The workshop.
Yes.
the workshop, one of the workshop masters. So I don't know if we should talk about it because The 3D Mount series weapons is a big topic that it is still going to be developed in the Arc of the Princesses, if I'm not wrong. So, and we don't talk this topic until way too long in the Four of Death. So, I
Right.
don't know if I should talk about it because, as we
Well,
said
let's
before,
talk
it is
about actually
spoilers.
where the same blacksmith I'm reading from the wiki
Yeah, because
created a 13-1 series and is the master artisan of the tower. In their position in the Gongbang workshop, he would be similar to a high ranker. So
yeah,
within the workshop, he's ranked as a high ranker. I don't know if people in the workshop don't get ranked.
yeah. The
About
the workshop is considered one of the big powers in the tower. We can
yeah.
separate the powers of the tower in four waves. Um, the Saharan Empire, Wohai Song. I don't know if we should consider FUG because when they talk about big names, they don't mention FUG. They are most like a religion that never does anything big in the tower in so many years. So when they talk about the workshop, we talk about big names. And who said? I don't remember who said that the only ones that can take on Jihad is or
Is the
Hoa
workshop.
Song
Yeah.
or the workshop.
Not
So
Wolexong,
they
actually, they
must have
don't
really
mention
powerful
Wolexong.
people.
Yeah. And also about Edward, actually, Edward, I cannot find the episode, but I'm 100% sure season 1. There's a you really little note about the hero, which is called the Tower's Weapon. And I am having a
Yeah. What I wanted to
but
talk about actually War on the 13 Month series is he's the craftsman that got half of the key of Jihad to the
right.
134th floor. But what are sadly the 13 Month weapons? As far as we know, an ignition weapon is a weapon that has a soul, and we know that we don't know for sure, but of the two weapons we know, the Black March and the Green Apple has a woman inside them.
Yeah, I mean, the old nation weapon seems to be
But
a weapon that was infused with somebody's life.
yeah, but
And that's why we have Oriang and the other guy
yeah,
who
but
are in live ignition weapons. That
so
they need live
you need to
boosters.
take a light to get a ignition weapon. So who are
Yeah.
these women?
I mean,
What
I
are
would
these women?
bet that they are either.
Yeah,
That
me
would
too.
be
I think they are
difficult,
princesses.
though, because of the timing when the weapons got created and the installment of the princess system. Because the weapons were originally created for the squad that climbed the tower. Like the 10 family heads plus Zahar plus Arlene and V, which makes 13. And well, then the whole, you know, we go our own way thing, that happened, and Zahar got a bit mad, and stuff happened. And yeah, then the weapons did not got shared amongst the the family members. Instead, then uh, Gustang um, proposed the whole let's create princesses and give them the weapons thing. So I don't really think that can be princesses in there.
You're right. I forgot about that. So they must be
Well,
natives, just as Kevin said, or something related to that.
fair enough. One thing I was actually thinking about was because they resonate and because it makes you go mad if you ignite more than one. I wonder if it's actually one soul that got torn apart into multiple pieces, and on their own they. Jesus, sorry. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, so my thought process was like they are split and they are in like just how everyone has a distinct personality and are some specific traits that stand out above others, and maybe somehow isolated traits of one person, soul, whatever, and split those traits into the separate weapons, and on their own they like one contained personality trait or something, and like that's no problem. But as soon as the second one comes into contact with the other one, I mean, obviously they resonate, but if you ignite both of them, you go mad. I think it might be because of those interacting with each other, like, oh wait, there's something, they're connected, but now they realize, oh shit, we're missing something. There's more to this.
Good point, but you are missing something.
Oh, I probably am.
The woman that was made to put that course, she was in the process to get selected a princess. So as you said before, the weapons were created before the princess system got introduced. They were made for the 13 great family leaders and jihad. So that was after that. So that woman is not part of it. That was later to curse the princesses.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's a prince, but yeah, let's talk about this another time. I could go on about this a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's speculation anyway. Ah, yes. They entered the tower. Yes, they entered the tower at the same time. They met at the floor of test, and they climbed for a couple of floors, but then they parted ways. There's a little comic about this, about them parting ways, by Seal. Yeah, it's surprising how little people actually know about this, because he hinted at that several times actually, and I mean he made a comic about it. So almost record, yes.
I think it's 500.
I think it's 500, yes.
Yeah, 500 some normally.
And what's the average real ranker?
1,000 to
More than
1,500,
1,000,
yes. Wasn't it? It was another princess who did it in 200.
Maybe Adori.
Adori, or what's the other princess who
Emmett.
took the test on the 100th floor?
Ari Javi Ferione, the daughter of Ari Hong.
Yeah, right. The childish Ari family princess,
Yeah,
yes.
Javi Ferione, if I'm not wrong. I don't know pronunciation
Huggy,
wrong.
yeah. Huggy Ferry, whatever. Yeah, she did it in 200 years.
I think she's the
But
one that did White, but whatever.
But actually, I mean, this is end of season spoiler technically, but um, Leroro at the end of the season like leaves the floor and goes to floor 77, which is the floor of, was it floor 70? Either way, he goes to the floor of Wolhek Song. So I assume he is going to look for Yuri, and I have hopes we see him again, actually, like in future seasons.
Well,
yeah,
he,
I think so.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
he will be
specifically with
like
their
far behind.
backstory.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like it's a and I mean it's a pro and a con.
I think that's one
He's
of the
gonna feel
biggest problems of Tower of God. That SIU is way too ambitious when it comes to backgrounds and characters. The world is too big and he doesn't have too much time or resources to put all these people he wants. Because we know we have so many characters that we haven't seen in a while. But one of the things that SIU taught me about his story is that no matter who is it, don't forget it because maybe they will become way later on, like Little Ro or Love or Augustus and many others.
Yeah, love, yeah. I totally forgot about him, to be perfectly honest. Then he suddenly appeared again. I was like, right, he existed. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. He's a one fan favorite. Like almost everyone forgot about him, and there's so many people in the comments that say, "Oh, yeah, wait, who's that? Who's that?" and want to check it off like 200 chapters before, if I'm not wrong. So moving on.
It's Black March.
That's interesting.
still the attack.
Sears stated in an interview it was Black March. He got
Wait,
asked,
really?
yes, in one of the first fan cafe interview podcasts, whatever they were called, uh, they asked him who was it who stopped the attack and what, and Sears said it was Black March. He didn't say much more about it, but actually looking at it, you can see Bam is yet again making this blank face, staring into space, not reacting at all. And Bullet gets destroyed, people stop moving, and you know, rest of the squad starts attacking them, and Bam is still looking, like staring into space, and only later realizing, wait, what happened? Actually, like when it, if you know look at the panels and scroll past it, at the moment, don't touch. Rex screams, "Don't touch my prey." You. That's the first time since the bullet was shot that Bam actually changes his expression. So he was spacing out the entire time, and that reminded me of at the very beginning of the floor of test when um, when Rack attacked Bam. We talked about this, and Bam spaced out. Um, I noticed that, but I did not link it to this moment until I saw it like happening in chapter 22. I was like, wait, this is the exact same thing. Um, it might actually be possible that Black March back then was, I don't know, activating or something and was getting ready to, I don't know, smack Rack into a pulp or something. uh, Black March, yes. exactly. Yeah, if you actually compare the screen where Rex throws his spear and Kun smacks his bag around, you see Bam there at the sparing out part of the cape, and if you then scroll down after the sniper guy gets destroyed, it's the exact same pose that Bam still has there. It's so, but yeah. Interesting.
First
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
in her previous life, she a wave controller. And how does their power affect their weapons that they choose? Or what?
Yeah. What's also interesting, the area of effect is completely different between those two. While Black March always it's either a small area around Bam, like a very small area around him, or when he ignites her later on at the trains, when they exit the train, and he stabs himself with her, then it's something different. But still, it's very contained. It's not like a widespread, big attack. It's always very focused, which actually fits the weapon type of a needle, while Green April is on a hook, and the range is completely different. It doesn't show any special like powers in that sense, but the like I don't know, it's a complete different style. Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint like the comparable um, power of Green April, like if you directly compare her to Black March. Yeah, it almost seems like she has some sort of sphere of influence in which she can manipulate Shitsu in some way, shape, or form.
Black March.
That's I mean, it's not too far-fetched if you look at this scene specifically. Like, there is some sort of shield around him blocking a bullet and stopping people who could harm him inside of this area. So it's it's not a stretch by any means.
I mean, not a lot, but it's noticeable that
Didn't he even mention something about that in the post-chapter notes? I recall reading something. Actually, didn't someone maybe I think I actually saw something about that today in a group. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Completely
It's like it's not even I wouldn't even go as like it's more than completely different. It's like an entirely different
Whole nother
story.
story.
yeah.
It is way
Every
different.
character, main character has a different attitude, different behavior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he did that.
but let's go back.
What I wanted to talk about is that I don't think it was Black March because I think I remember now back in 2015 I read that the same thing that Toro said that SIU said that it was Black March, but I think he did that to avoid spoilers because somehow I think that that was the internal power of BAM because we never saw BAM losing conscience, and I think we're going to do that in the next point if I'm not wrong. But I think there is some kind of auto defense system in him that he can do things when I don't know. I think we should talk about this before after we. So go on.
It's a good question though. Yeah, that's what I would assume as well, that there's some sort of
You
legend
are,
about it.
you know, the world outside the tower where Pam and Rachel live. It is it is hard to figure how it works. It's like they live underground, or it's kind of like a big block of earth on ground that keeps covering them, so they can go outside. To go outside, and they well Rachel knows that to go outside she needs to go up the tower and go outside and watch the real stars. And even in the tower and in this kind of world, Bam and Rachel live, they don't know what is star or what is outside. So they should not know about the concept of day and night. And I want to talk about that later. But there is there must be someone and a stereo factor like someone that climbed that tower, someone that was actually outside, and the people we know that they are actually outside this tower is irregulars, like Jihad or Arlene, and
Right.
later.
That would work if we completely assume.
Yeah, somewhere underneath.
No way.
How do you take
Go
Rachel up the
there.
tower?
I mean, who might say
How did Arlene
how
get
did
out of the
Arlene get
tower?
out of the tower?
Yeah, and
Exactly.
that's the
There
point.
must be many ways. I mean, think about the workshop.
Yeah,
No,
Nobody can.
they don't know the way outside. They want to know the way outside to know their origins, but they don't know. That's their ultimate goal. Is it
I
mentioned
think
that
they
they
know.
know outside?
the workshop
Yeah, the
exists
workshop is
both in and outside of the tower.
but we're unclear.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, when I read the wiki, their ultimate goal is to find the way to the outside and find his origins. With, of course, that they go some kind of Bible that tells them, yeah, this is the way, and you need to find that. But they don't know the outside. And this is a big theory about who is crafting all these things of Rachel and Bam. But I don't think that Rachel is from the tower. She's definitely from the outside. And this world, this smart world where they live, is kind of artificial in a way. But I think we need to say that from way later.
I mean, presumably that's even why Zahard and the boys actually even entered the tower in the first place.
Yeah, and that was one of the stories of in the book of Rachel to teach Bang about the tower and how to behave. And even if I'm not wrong, later on in the story of Arlene, there is say that Arlene was dreaming and she even wrote about these things. So this kind of legend might be going down past by Arlene, and it is true that the whole tower knows about it. There is they haven't reached the real top, but no one cares. Everyone just want to go to the 124th floor and get the desire they want.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing.
I mean, it's not really like they actually have like any say about this. Like, what are they gonna do? Go up to the heart, like, I kind of want to keep going up. I mean,
No, well, my God,
what's
you
that
are
gonna
right.
achieve?
Like
Yeah, you just have to, collect all the 13-month series, collect all the rings, forge them back together into this key and open the door and be my guest. Like, yeah, right. Yeah.
high
Oh,
rankers
really?
try. So high rankers have the chance to. If you're a high ranker, you can try. You try,
Oh,
like you
yeah.
make it.
Zahard and the boys actually tried themselves.
Before he
Yeah,
sealed
I was like,
the
you guys are wasting your time. I tried.
that
Well, what we did talk about was the fact that we see Rachel in his memory when he loses consciousness.
Yeah,
Where
so
she's
that's very interesting.
Rachel's being held by her hair. I mean, she looks like she's in pain. And well, it is clearly from Baum's memories. So he must have seen that. Yeah, I mean, it, that's like that. Yeah, I mean, what else? Yeah, I mean, what else could it be? It could be a shit ton else.
Well,
But
that
actually, the
hand
scene left me
that hand is way
speechless.
bigger than Bam's.
True.
I think it is. I think it is Bam's memory.
True. Oh, great. That series had issues.
Uh,
One of those big mysteries.
I got a big theory about that, but I will say that for the end of the season.
No, we'll not save that.
Are you sure?
I mean, you don't. Yeah, keep it short.
Yeah. So, all right, everything is a plan of Arlene, and she was looking at Bam and Rachel from the top of the mountain. Everything that happens in the first season, she was controlling Rachel. She, what is the way that you make someone do something you want without even know to get perfect? That the pieces or the people that you are going to use are not aware of your intentions. So what I think is that Arlene, in purpose, make Rachel uh, take care of Bam and make all these histories of the tower and the top and who is the savior of this tower and who is the star that will be at the top of this tower and reach all these people inside the tower to greater heights. But as all readers, we know that
So
Rachel.
do you think that Arlene made Rachel jealous for wanting of climbing the tower?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
yes, she's the one. Yep.
But I mean, I know probably can answer you, but why wouldn't she stay and use Bam? Why did she have to use Rachel to use Bam? You know what I mean?
Because she can get inside the tower. We know that the motivation to go. Wait, what? She doesn't
No, like
need
she
to.
can just you can instead of using Rachel to train Bam, why didn't she train Bam? Why didn't she actually,
Yeah,
be with Bam and
be with Bam
where you should
and
go up?
yeah, should use your name and you should do this and that. But it doesn't work that way because as far as we know, she's afraid of Bam. She's not the kid she knows anymore. She even calls him a monster. So
A lot of hearsay.
yeah, it's speculations, but that's how theories works in Tower of God. It's just speculations.
I mean, I have my own theory about the whole thing, which is
Yeah.
more about that like it's more like the Full Metal Alchemist kind of thing. Like to equivalent of change, in order to give life, you need to take a life. So she offered her life in exchange for Bam's life. So I think she sacrificed her life. Oh my god, this stupid clock.
This was the actual thing. Like, Henry was rumored to be able to create life.
Yes. The question is life he creates equivalent to human life or intelligent life, or was it like he could create, I don't know, a worm or something? Like that's life too. There's a
Uh,
whole different spectrum
I
though.
think I think it wasn't Andrew because you can say create life but not give a soul. You had a body, you
Also,
just put power on it like a soul, and in the prophecy of Arlene, she said that she wanted that the power of God will enter in this child, and Henry is not the God. The God is Phantominum, and Andrew is the messenger of God. So I don't think it was Andrew.
I mean, whether
I don't know if that's
Phantominium is the god, but definitely Enryu is the messenger. That's what I also just want to say. Yeah, he is the messenger, not the god who gives the life. Also fair.
Yeah, that's right.
But yes,
here's the thing.
He's no, but he's below of Henry. I kind of there's some kind of hierarchy about him. Not in power, but in respect. Like he's his right hand.
We know that we all know about it.
Yeah.
Galaxies are beings that are close to a god because they can control the story and they have a like a circle.
also, no, they haven't.
Yes. If I'm not wrong, when I don't remember his name again, the Garam when Garan said that when Garan told the story to Bam, she mentioned a god and the messenger of God, and as far as we know, the god of the outside, or we speculate to be the god of the outside is Phantominum,
But we
and
speculate we don't
the
know.
messenger Andrew. So
I'm gonna fight you on this.
Same.
I can tell. Keeps the beat.
yeah,
No, I don't think they have been mentioned or linked together in that way yet. I could be wrong.
It's I can see why you would speculate the way that I mean he is an Axis. He is the closest thing we know in the universe to a god. And if we talk about Enryu is the messenger of the god, and the only god we know is it should therefore logically be an Axis. Therefore, it should be Phantominium, which I don't agree to that. I think they're completely separate entities. Like they're not entities. Completely separate in affiliation. But I see the point people make. I just don't think it's actually the case.
Both sides, and I am a strong one between both sides.
Exactly.
I'm struggling.
yeah, that's sure. But
Tomorrow I could change my mind.
Also, one thing
think
I
about
would
why on the earth Phantominum go inside the tower, kill most of Sahat's high rankers, get in front of him and disappear out of nowhere. Why? What is the reason? To admit
He
him or
just wanted to
something.
leave a message, and the people kept throwing
But what
themselves at him,
message?
like, oh, where are you? And he's like, just shut up.
But what message? What does he want to convey? I think you are not in the power and you're going to get down. But
I
Fantamino
have
won't
some
do it.
theories.
So he
I don't know if
needs.
it's this moment, but like for example, one of the theories I believe is that Phantaminum just wanted to come because Phantaminum. Maybe he finds someone.
But
That would be my first theory.
but Sahar already stopped climbing the tower. He has
At the
no
time,
intention to
yes.
go outside. Yeah, he was already a kid and he didn't want to climb. He doesn't want anyone to climb.
Also, Yuri was also already a princess at the time that was a ranker at the time because else she wouldn't be up there. So this is a long, long time after. Yeah, she's one of the youngest princesses. So also she was the last princess within 500 years that got gifted one of the 13 months series. So
So what is
I
the
mean,
timeline? How close is when Bam entered the tower and Fantamino came inside?
we don't know.
Because
I guess it's not that far apart. I guess.
there's not that much far apart. So that's what I think. That's the purpose of Fantamino getting in front of Jihad. Like you're not in the power anymore, and this is where the thing starts. So what I wanted to say before is that Rachel is someone that is being controlled by other people, not by Arlene. But there is some people restricting her to go outside, or you say I'm dumb. I can do I can do this, or I want to do this and that. But there's people like some kind of words that wanted to wanted to make sure that Bam or not Rachel go outside of this place or demolish half of their plans. So maybe Rachel wanted to do something or like I don't want to betray Bam or I don't want to do this and they kind of hurt her and Bam saw this. So that might be the hand of the man that was beating up Rachel. Because in the anime we see not only his hair being pulled, we can see her completely covered in dirt, like she was beaten. But it wasn't Bam.
I don't want to take the.
Well,
I kind
I
of
think that
I kind of
whoever is
think that
pulling Rachel's hair.
the
She's
aggressor.
looking straight front.
yes, she's on the side, yeah.
So why are we looking at her from a third point of view? If she's looking at Bam,
I think
guess
she's more
she's a
like
third
being
person.
pulled to the side and she's like, wah! And Bam is like looking at the whole situation, probably looking at the guy first and then no, looking over at Rachel who is just being yanked, but it's I mean the whole scene is
It's
so
way too long.
yeah,
can
just
we agree that the
way
hand
too
is
much.
hand
Yes. Possible, yet unlikely. I mean, to be perfectly honest, this could just be like the lack of a pants or something, because like she was. I mean, she is relatively young, which is a dangerous word to use inside the tower. But like, if she could be on her knees, being held by her hair, and there's just a tall guy standing next to her, and like, if you hold your hands down, it like if you just let your arm hang down, it reaches to about your hips. So you could say that if he's just holding her down, so this it should be the height of of his hips. So this would probably be his legs. But I mean, that's all brown pants. Well, on one hand, though, we know that someone else was able to enter the cave, or yeah, I mean, I know what you. Okay, yeah, let's keep it at that. Or else we probably will be still talking about this in half an hour. I don't even think there is an answer to that yet. Mm, I, I actually think we should leave that to next one, because in the next discussion episode we will have, um, Riceball is going to talk about bangs and the other aspects of Shinsu. I think that would be the part where we know the most basic information about Shinsu. So I think that would be the best timing to talk about Shinsu, in my opinion.
Put it on your list. Oh yeah, we can.
Uh,
Yeah, next week then.
the thing I put on my list, in terms of Shinsu specifically, was actually the rice ball talking about Lore, about him reading Shinsu while sleeping, which I found a very interesting choice of words. Exactly. I mean, Shinsu is, yeah, citing Shinsu, maybe, but Shinsu is directly related to water. I mean, the name already means divine water. But the interesting thing about this, I think, is what do you read in water? You can read a flow, you can,
Yeah,
something. And so,
I think he means
what
that
what other,
he can see the flow
yeah?
of the Shinsu in
So
this
what
place.
what other flow can we um, say gets read inside the story, and that's the flow of time or fate. And both the heart and Kalharam do that. So the guides too, yeah. So they read. I mean, the fate, they read the flow of time. So I think to me, the wording is so specific that it almost tells us that the way they read the flow of time or fate or whatever, like later on, is directly linked to Shinsu. But that's, I mean, that's assumption. It just, no, he doesn't. But I think the principle is the same. Like the way he talks about read, like how do I say this?
So you are
Um,
trying to say that the Shinsu and the destiny can be read the same way because it is linked.
it is like, yeah, and I mean, just that Zahar and Kalhalram and the other people who can do it are just way, way, way more advanced at it. So, like, of course, Laurie cannot read the flow of time, whatever, but he basically uses Shinsu while sleeping, like reads it while sleeping, which is still the same way of reading. Just if you are so much more advanced that you are like, I don't know, got to your levels of reading Shinsu, you could potentially get to those levels.
Like getting better at Shizu control. You know, read Shizu or time through Shizu.
If I'm not wrong, when Yuga said when Ren said that you are the kind of guy that reads Shinsu when they're sleeping, he said, "No, I just love sleeping." No.
Right.
So one of the things that I found really interesting is that it might be right what you mean, Thor, that Shinsu is directly related with fate because we never got stated or explained how Kelhala, Jahar, or guides can red guys can see the kind of see the future or forge paths because we never go explain about it, not yet. So I kind of got an idea that is like an spider. Like you can put the spider put threads, and whenever a fly or something steps on it, they can see the strings moving, or kind of like a moth. There are some kind of moths that read the currents of air with their things. So they may be kind of the same idea that how if there is a certain movement or thinking or action that goes in Shinsu, there might be people that can read it. Like if I move, there might be someone on the outside of my house that can
Yeah,
see my movement, and it might be working
that's
the
kind
same
of
way.
how Guardians look at. They can feel when
Yeah,
people use Shizu to
exactly like the
a certain
Wardens.
degree. All right, so let's move to our last point, and we have two actually. So first, the foreshadowing. You said that you doesn't like.
He said in one of the blog posts that uh, uh, the way he writes his stories um, is in a way that he foreshadows something and follows that up, and he doesn't like um, to include surprises, sudden surprises, like totally out of the blue from, hey, also this. But no, he always tries to somehow hint at the stuff beforehand. Whether we notice that beforehand or not is a entire different point. But yeah, he obviously tries to do that. He can't always do that, but especially with the big plot twists or points or whatever, he tries to. Uh, yeah. hmm But actually, you skip. Yes. Actually, you
Yeah,
skipped over
really, really
one
nice.
of the big points I wanted to talk about.
Which one?
About the conversation between Anak and Androssi when they meet on episode 27. Like they meet on the floor. When Anak asks Androssi about how she ended up with the team, like on her test floor, and Androssi was like, yeah, I mean, Rachel and Ghost were already teamed up when they met them, which we already know because, well, in chapter 67 or something, Head and Rachel have a talk and whatever. Anyways, yeah, Androssi notes that she like yeah the big guy was the strong one, but that's not the guy she feared. She actually did not want to fight Rachel. Uh, I mean, she said because she felt like something lived in a different world, which is obviously because she was an irregular, but still, yeah, like she wasn't really afraid. But well, she did say that she was not afraid of the huge one. Um, but I just felt it really interesting because especially her, I mean, she is obviously very strong. She's a princess. She's pretty much she has no qualm fighting anyone of the regulars. She's probably one of the strongest regulars at the current thing. Yeah, yeah,
She said,
and
yeah,
that's something I find very interesting because like she has a clear understanding of power inside the tower because she obviously knows how strong she is herself, and I mean the fact that she did not like that she got a feeling from Rachel that she shouldn't fight her because she felt like I don't know different world whatever, but that means that she must have felt something about Rachel, even though Rachel like she has nothing special about her. She has no special like Shinsu resistance. She has no special abilities that we know of. And still, a Princess of Jahad with a backstory that Andrasi has still felt like she should not fight Rachel is something I find very, very interesting. I cannot explain it, but it's something I find like, that to me is extremely exceptional.
you're right. It's foreshadowing. He's just making sure that you know. I think she's not any regular people.
Yeah,
Well,
because
yeah,
Androssi only feel the same with Bam. Even though Bam is
exactly.
on the regular, she didn't got that feeling. Or many people say that Guts is an irregular, but I don't think so. But she might be feel something with him too. So as Kevin said, he is foreshadowing something that telling you that Rachel is special, even some kind of on one vein from the outside, making sure.
Yep, me
Sorry,
too.
my car is missing me. Go ahead.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a live reading, that's for sure.
Me
I mean,
neither.
it would take
That
forever.
will
I
take
still
way
wouldn't
too
mind.
long. The problem is that it will take way too long, and it's night for you.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many things that I always note. It's like they're interesting. Are they worth discussing? Probably not. But there's just so many things. So many
Like
little.
so many little small things,
Symbol in concave.
and Rachel's dream or Rachel's speech about the night.
Well, we can't. Video shouldn't be recording shouldn't be allowed.
All right. See you next week, guys. See you next week.
All right. Take care, guys.
Yep. Take care.